I do love vodka.
The fact that you started there is irrelevant.
Don't like change, okay?
At the end of the day, yeah, well, their photographs better. All right, welcome to the Whiskey Topic. I'm Mark Bylock.
And I'm Jamie Johnson.
And this is episode of 111. We're moving our way up through the episode numbers.
That's good. Good for us.
Yeah.
Well done. We still get along.
Right? Amazing. It's been 3 years. So we're here at Char No.5 back at the Delta Hotel in downtown Toronto, and they've been very, very nice to allow us to record here again. We made a mess here last time. There's like papers everywhere, glasses were. I know, and they still invited us back.
I know. We're very lucky. It's because of Ray. That's why.
That's right. Well, we have a very special guest today, of course. We have Ray here from, you're the manager here of the bar program, and I guess the Char No.5 specifically in the events area. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
So we wanted to bring you on because we wanted to talk about all of the stories you have from being a hotel bar manager, because we're sure there are fantastic. A lot of late nights here, a lot of crazy things going on.
At the Delta?
No comment. Delta Hotel Toronto, no way condones this my impression.
No, we're going to have a very serious podcast. Our podcasts are always very serious, as everybody knows.
Oh, of course, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So we are going to be working with. We're going to talk about like just the bar programs in general, kind of what you look for a bar program, kind of differences between like a hotel bar and a regular bar, and also ordering, how to order whiskey cocktails, any sort of cocktails, gin. Vodka even? Do you sell vodka here? I feel like you do.
I have one.
You have one vodka?
One vodka.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I feel for like a lot of our like listeners, they'd be like really impressed with that. They'd be like, yeah, you've got how many whiskeys and how many vodkas? One vodka. Awesome. I'd go to that bar.
That is the bar.
Yeah.
That is the bar I want to go to.
I do love vodka. I just have to say that I've really been getting into like Vespers, like cocktails.
Yeah,
okay,
so, like,
Vespers are great.
Vespers are great, and so you need vodka for that. So like I'm coming around.
I just never got into it.
I'm telling you,
I don't understand it.
We're gonna have that show. We're gonna have that vodka show instead of whiskey. It's gonna go vodka, and boom. And it's
Mark was like
thing.
sending me lyrics one day, like texting me lyrics. He'd rewritten our theme song into vodka, and he was so proud
How'd
of
that go?
himself.
It was great
So
lyrics.
It was good?
We just got to get the Alan Doyle to convince him to sing it for
That's
us.
right. Who knew that Mark Bylock was such a
Lyrical genius?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
What a songwriter. Where'd that come from?
I was like, come on, Alan, come on, just sing this, just come down and just sing this vodka song for us. It'll be perfect. I know, I had like, they rhymed and everything.
I know.
mean,
really
I'm a writer. I keep
know
reminding people I'm a writer.
know.
Despite my terrible grammar,
No,
my
it's
tweets
fine.
have mistakes in them all the time.
That's maybe not your fault.
It makes it real, though, right?
There you go.
That's right.
I have to say that hotel bars are some of my favorite bars to go to. I think it's a really interesting sort of like cross section of like lives, and you have like people on vacation who this is like an anomaly for them, and then you have people who are regulars like me. I literally live just down the street from here, so I spend a little bit of time here. And then you have business. Bit. Yeah,
a little bit.
Thanks, Ryan.
No problem.
Thanks.
No problem. Hey, that's what we're here for.
And then you have, business travelers who are here, every so often, are very like. So you've got this like amazing cross section of people that come into hotel bars, and you have to be able to sort of like play to all those audiences. And it's kind of like my husband and I always talk about, like, we got stuck, I think it was in San Francisco, out at the airport hotel around there. And so we went down to the airport hotel bar, which I think is a whole other genre.
That's the best kind of hotel bar. It's where real stuff happens.
I know, exactly. And so like for me, it's like even more of this kind of like, you could just like hunker down and just watch people and like create scenarios, and like you can tell like who's there with their coworkers and who doesn't like each other and who's being forced to be there. Like, it's such a great thing. So like, what do you think of like working in a hotel bar? Like how much do you sort of get jollies off of watching people like that?
No, I mean it's great. I mean, I've kind of had a pretty even split, I think, career-wise between kind of bars and hotel bars.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a huge difference between them. I mean, even you look at things like, you know, your regulars, right? And then in a regular kind of style bar, your regulars are people you see 2 or 3 or 4 times a week.
Wow,
Your
that's a regular? Damn. I don't think even I exist as a regular anywhere. Jeez, that's a lot of times.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know.
Me neither.
Anywhere. Shut up, Jamie. I know where you're regular. But like, yeah, like your regulars in a hotel bar are kind of people you see 3 or 4 times a year, right?
Yeah.
So there's, I mean, definitely from a customer service point of view, it tests your mind a little bit more because you kind of, like, these people want to be remembered. Everybody wants to be remembered anywhere you go, and especially in a bar, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of have to, you know, I mean, names, I don't think anybody really expects bartenders to remember names anymore. It's, you know, or ever. It's
Right.
drinks. We usually refer to people as their drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
here's old fashioned again. I like this guy. Yeah.
Jamie,
Old
old-fashioned.
gin
Yeah.
tonic at the other end,
Old Bob Benny, Rob Roy there.
Ooh, another shout out.
Love it.
Called out a
I'm,
lot.
I'm feeling feisty today.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. No, hotel bars are great, man. Like they're definitely a different beast. They're a lot more difficult to, I think, run and operate than kind of a mom and pop type place.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, no matter what you try and do with a hotel bar, you're still always essentially working for what is quite a huge company, right?
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're kind of working in like a small boutique hotel or something like that. But even with that, now, I mean, everything's being bought up by, you know, 2 or 3 different companies worldwide, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, you do kind of run into a lot of kind of operating procedures and brand standards and stuff like that still have to be kind of adhered to. But you're right, Jamie. Like, hotel bars are, I mean, in my mind, they were the pinnacle of bars. If you wanted a great cocktail, you wanted a great conversation, great service, you went to hotel bars. And that kind of died away over the last, I'd say probably 30 or 40 years. You know, it kind of became more of a waiting room than, you know, somewhere you go and actually kind of sit and kind of spend your night. And that's kind of one of the big things I've tried to do here was bring back that standard of, you know, high quality drinks, high quality service, but with a relaxed kind of atmosphere. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, with hotels, this is people's home away from home, right? And it's very important for us to, you know, make people feel like that, but also, you know, give them the best of the best, right? And, you know, make sure the cocktails they're getting are the best they can possibly get. And
Yeah, I feel like historically, so I didn't know this until recently, but like in this, but kind of Ontario went under like kind of a prohibition period, but hotels, you could always pretty much get booze because there was like a standard of like, you're treating an international traveler, so you could get alcohol at a hotel, but you couldn't necessarily, there were no necessarily bars to go to, which is such a weird concept. Like 30, 40 years ago,
Yeah.
you couldn't actually go to a bar. Like the hotels where you went, because that's where the international, you know, you were treating international
No man's land,
travelers. And certainly we see that in the Middle East as well. A lot of countries that you can't have a drop of alcohol. You go to the hotel bar, there's booze.
hotels and airports.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Hotels and
pretty
airports are
much,
two
yeah.
places you can get booze. But you're also right. I love what you said there about like how you travel. Like you're always kind of you're always wondering like, oh, is this gonna be a good hotel bar or a bad hotel bar?
and,
like
I mean,
I'm gonna order a
unfortunately-
Manhattan. I'm gonna get one of those. You know, what is it gonna be? Yeah, no, it's a great point.
It's, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there's probably more bad ones than good ones.
Yeah.
I don't want to kind of crap on anybody here, but I mean, there's a lot of hotels who genuinely don't care a massive amount about their lobby bars, right? As I said, it's a waiting room, right? It's somewhere for people to be when they're waiting for dinner in a restaurant.
Well, and it's so interesting because so many like luxury hotels have these bars that people like sort of at one point or another, like you said, like 30 years ago, probably a hotel bar would have set the standard for, so like the Four Seasons or like for us in Canada, like the Fairmont, like any of those sort of like proper hotel bars probably were the catalyst to that sort of change in the cocktail culture. So going from like mass produced sort of like whatever to doing like proper cocktails like you would find in New York City at, you know, the Four Seasons or at wherever. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting to see and to think because you're like, oh, a hotel bar, like, but when you think about some of the best bars in the world, actually, as I'm thinking about it now, some of them are all in hotels. London, like in all the major like cities, you're gonna have some of the top. So there you go.
Yeah, no, it's
It's
true.
like it's almost like there's like two total like dichotomies. It's like they're either like incredibly awesome and you can like hang your hat on them, or they're just not so great, and they're using the machine ice from upstairs or whatever. Yeah,
it's gonna take time for it to get back to the glory days for hotels, right? I mean, look, in the States, a lot of places in Europe, so like that, like, there's a lot of cities, a lot of hotels that kept it going. New Orleans is one that steps out straight away.
Yeah, of course.
Mean, that's kind of the mecca for hotel bars, right? London has some amazing ones, Madrid and Barcelona, but in Canada, we're kind of very much still kind of behind the scene. And it's going to take us a while honestly, for people even to start taking it seriously. Right? There's so many great kind of standalone bars out there, or kind of small chains, like kind of the two chefs who own 3 restaurant type thing, or 3 bar type things, and they have fantastic staff. They're willing to put a lot into it. I mean, hotels aren't big on gambling, right? They have a model, they have a business plan, and they stick to it. So I mean, here it still baffles me that they allow us to do what we do here. They allow us to keep doing what we do here, right?
Because you're this is going to have a whiskey program. It's going to be very serious. Like, but the name Char No.5 alone is
we don't fit the mold.
Yeah.
Which is
That's great. It's great. I remember when it opened, I was so excited to see that there was a whiskey bar coming in. So originally this bar started as only Canadian whiskey.
So when we first opened, the whole idea was to have kind of Canada's whiskey bar, right?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, very novel idea.
Yeah.
Like, great idea.
Fantastic.
In practice, it just didn't work.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we still have probably one of the biggest Canadian whiskey collections you'll find in the country.
Yeah.
Maybe. But I mean, we did have to kind of expand it out a little bit, and like we've really reaped the benefits from that little expansion. Little things like, let's say, breaking the mold a little bit. We do have a couple of beer companies that we work with locally, and all locally produced stuff. Same with our wines, same with our gin, or same with our gin, not anymore, but our vodka, all Canadian made.
Awesome.
But then kind of opening up our collection, we're kind of up around the 300-ish mark now, which I mean, for a newish bar is not bad. I mean, there's a lot of bars out there who have considerably more, but they've been around for 20 or 30 years.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
We've talked about this before, but there's like that, you can kind of age a bar based on how old the alcohol is that was bought. So you go to like some like Allen's in Toronto, they've got stuff like, how did they get this like Brora from like 28-year-old? This was on sale at the LCBO in like 1999.
Yeah,
exactly.
They bought it and they stored it. They've had it still then. Whereas a very, very new bar, you don't have the stuff that was sold 5-8 years ago. You're kind of starting today or 5 years ago or what have you. And that's interesting, right? It's always kind of interesting kind of where that things. But you also, I mean, you have a great collection there. Obviously, very substantial collection of whiskey.
My whole idea behind it was. Well, I mean, our whole idea behind what the bar was going to be was it's an experience.
Yeah.
So we didn't, and it's again not kind of to say anything bad about any brands whatsoever, because that's not what it is. But there were certain things that we didn't want around. You can walk into pretty much any bar in the world and buy a shot of Jameson.
Yeah.
Right? Now, as far as the Jameson company goes, I love them. I genuinely do.
Yeah.
But they produce so much other products that you don't find in other bars. That was the goal. Was to have the rest of their collection, right, and kind of give people a chance to step away from what they normally would go for, and kind of give us a chance then to kind of take them on a little bit of a journey and say, okay, well, if you like this, then let's move over here a little bit, because the world of Irish whiskey is so big, the world of bourbon is so big that you can afford to step away from the standards and move a little bit.
Absolutely.
Test the boundaries.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, so you went from like Canadian whiskey. You were like, okay, let's move on. So what was kind of your next? Where did you start that expansion?
I bought 10 bottles, and that was our world whiskey collection.
It's amazing.
10 bottles.
Do you remember which bottles they were?
That sounds like a Friday night for me.
Yeah, right.
I mean, 10 bottles. Jeez.
Well, that's it. When you've got more whiskey in your collection at home than you do in your bar at work, you're like, oh god. Do I remember? Yeah, I think so. Balvenie Caribbean Cask actually was in the that was there.
My fave,
Highland Park Odin.
Very nice.
It's a great one.
American Oak, Auchentoshan American Oak. I think it was there. Middleton Very Rare.
Oh wow, nice.
I'm drawing a blank now. Oh, there was a Bowmore in there. I think it might be the 15, the darkest.
Okay, yeah, that's good. So kind of went from different Scotch brands and
Woodford Double Oak.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all I can remember right
Yeah. So that was great.
great.
So that was kind of your first, and I guess you were kind of expanding from there. Like, listen, I have 300 bottles of stuff.
Week by week, I pretty much add something new every single week.
Yeah.
But then again, we also kind of most likely lose something every
Yeah,
week.
for sure. For sure.
Again, sounds like my house.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that's how most of us drink now. Like it's you just sort of you have one and you finish and then you get something new or different or whatever and yeah. Are you noticing any like trends right now? Like is there something that you're just like, oh, why is everyone asking for that? Like what is going on right now?
I guess. I mean, look, probably about 70 to 80% of our clientele are from the States. Which is kind of great for us in that it gives us an opportunity to kind of show them stuff they wouldn't normally get at home.
Yep.
Also kind of sucks in that a lot of the stuff they like and that they drink all the time, we just physically can't get here.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of bourbons and stuff that we just can't get our hands on.
Yeah.
Irish whiskey actually is starting to get a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
People seem to want to make their brand calling now as opposed to, let me just see what's around. I had somebody brand called Tyrconnell the other day. I think it might be the first time I've ever had somebody walk into a bar and say, "Oh, do you have Tyrconnell?" Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. That's awesome.
I've noticed there's a lot more kind of willingness to try new things now.
Yeah.
More than I've ever seen before.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just paying more attention to it now, but people seem like they're kind of definitely more willing to step away from the Jack and Coke, the Jemmy and Ginger sort of thing, and actually, all right, man.
Yeah.
This is what I normally like.
Yeah. Tell me, like,
What can we do from here?
Yeah.
It's cool.
I think that's awesome, and I think that's how like so many people are now getting into. Are you finding that people are a little bit more knowledgeable when it comes to whiskey nowadays? Like they'll walk in and they'll sort of.
Yeah. Yes and no. I actually had this conversation with Cameron Miller. Recently, where you kind of hit that point where there's a lot of people who know a little bit of the story.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it's just from kind of piecing together little bits that you get a lot of people who are kind of under the impression that they know everything about everything. And a lot of times because they've been given wrong information somewhere along the line.
Right.
Or,
Yeah.
Gradually piecing bits together. So that's kind of probably one of the hardest things because you never want to turn around and be like, you're wrong, but at the end of the day, these people are still paying our rent.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's people definitely do. People want to know more now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. There's definitely more kind of an interest in knowing what's going in your body.
Yeah.
Which is great. It's kind of cool coming in. You're not kind of working with so many blank slates anymore. It's just people who actually, they say they don't like peated whiskey because they tried peated whiskey, and it's just not for them, right?
Right.
And there's a few people they'll drop, oh yeah, I tried this, and you're like, okay, well, you know what? If you didn't like any of those, then I'm not going to force you. But then there's a much bigger world than just peated whiskey, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I think that's something that I've sort of encountered with single malts is that I think some people have tried single malts or were given peated single malts as their like entry point, and it like automatically sort of like. They were like, because it's so like you love it or you just don't, and so many people have that in their head that they're like, oh no, I don't like Scotch, it's too smoky for me, and then you sort of have the work to do to like convince them that it's not all like that. But I have a question. So knowing what you know now, a couple years in, what are the whiskeys that you would what would be like the 5 or 6 or 7 bottles that you would go back to sort of expand?
Oh, great question. Yes.
Thanks, Mark.
Am I obliged to say Balvenie 12?
No, not at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
That's a really good question. It's so hard. So I always kind of describe kind of putting the list together here and kind of what I do here is basically being a collector with somebody else's money. Which is, it's fun as hell because quite literally I get to collect stuff and not pay for anything, right? I don't get to drink it.
But
you get to rush to purchase.
That's right.
So a lot of the time I kind of tend to buy with my heart. There are certain brands that I have kind of a massive love for. Highland Park, like that's just one of those brands that I think I will love forever. And same with anything from Cooley.
Cooley from Irish. Yeah.
I mean, I think if I was to do it now, oh man, that's a tough one, Jake. Why did you have to do this?
I know, right? Right on the spot.
But you know what? And this is genuinely kind of joking aside, Balvenie Caribbean Cafe.
Yeah.
That would be for sure. Beautiful whiskey and just sells like crazy. Bowmore 15. I think I may have done it right the first time.
There you
Yeah, I was
go.
gonna say, you're
That's
just
amazing. You might have done it right. I think that's great.
Carges by the Freud.
Yeah, they're always good. Every
always
release.
Always good.
Yeah.
The last one actually, the Madeira cask was
Yeah. It was so great. Yeah.
Connemara.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of wish we could get more of the Connemara products here.
Yeah.
Man, they're good. I do love Old Forester, I gotta say.
Yeah, the new, I feel like Old Forester is really kind of improving what they're providing to people, like the new, like the newer whiskeys, the whatever they call it, the Frontier. They have a few different names for them, but they're getting like more forward modern whiskey. They're competing very well in the price segment.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Buck.
Yeah.
Bakers. I love Bakers.
Ah,
I haven't
yes.
seen Bakers in so long in Ontario. I haven't seen it.
It is around. It is around.
Is it
It is
around?
around. Because
Okay, I gotta
Baker's
go
is
get
like
some.
the Booker's lesser known cousin, really, right? Because you have Booker's cast strength, small batch, and you have Baker's also cast strength, but not batch.
A little less hot.
hot.
I find it's way more like chocolatey than like the Booker's is. Like I find it's like just more like it's richer almost. It's yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful
I'm a fan.
whiskey.
It's a beautiful
Yeah.
whiskey. Yeah.
And one of those ones that you kind of forget about sometimes.
Yeah.
And you see the bottle and go, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot this
Total
is so good.
under the radar. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I probably.
You did great.
I think I did. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Maybe now you'll stop picking on me.
Right?
Now you realize how often I do.
No.
That's funny. What are you? What's going to be? With the clientele coming in, you said there's a whole variety. How do you make friends with the bartender at a very busy bar? Because hotel bars are typically, actually, I should say, hotel bars are sometimes busy, sometimes very empty. I find it. I don't know if this is the practice here, but I find, especially in the States, I know the laws are a little differently. If you go walk into a nice hotel bar that's empty, you usually get free drinks. Like that's kind of like, please stay here for a little bit.
Do you?
I do.
Some places in the States for sure they'll do it. Yeah.
I just like go into and they're just like, here, you order your drink and you pay for your first drink. Like, hey, try this, try that, and then
Yeah, you get like your shot with your beer or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, here, I would love to be able to do that, but legally,
I know
we
you
just,
can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
This is a whole different thing. But that is something that they do in the
Yeah,
hospitality
I've
industry.
definitely found it at certain places. Actually, West Coast, I found it a good bit. Like San Fran, LA.
Yep.
Don't go to a bar expecting free drinks, but
No.
still.
Yeah, never walk into a bar.
But it is something that you do.
Yeah.
But what about? So what do you expect? Kind of like if it's a bar's really busy on like a Friday, Saturday night. What's the best way to make a good transaction happen here without?
I think the biggest thing, and you know what, it's going to sound kind of so simple that you mightn't believe that people don't do it, but actually knowing what you want
Yeah.
when you're going to the bar.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like yes, the transaction is very much about you in that second. But you're looking around. There's also, there might be 150 people in the room and one bartender, right? And,
Yeah.
and in their mind, the transaction is about every single person, and making it feel very personal to every single person. But you also need time to do that. So I guess not eating up a lot of the bartender's time with dumb stuff like, hey, what can I do for you?
Yes.
Can I have? Hey guys, what do you want? What do you want?
Yeah, what do you want?
Yeah, that's a big one. I mean, look, dropping a big tip is always a good way to do it, but you should never have to purchase your place in queue. Yeah. It's definitely a bonus, and I mean, yeah, I guess we probably will look around and say, oh, that's the guy who dropped big first time round, but that shouldn't be the case. You should never have to do that just to get served. I think just kind of knowing what you want, or if you don't know what you want, kind of
Describing it.
like having a better idea than, all right, man, I want you to take me on a journey here.
Yeah. You're like,
No problem, bud.
No.
But drop back in tomorrow at 2.
yeah.
But one of my favorite stories when I went to I think it was called the Rick House in San Francisco. It was a very, very kind of fussy bar. You could tell it's a very fussy bar. And the bartenders were busy, and I walked in, and there's a group of people before me, and the guy goes, the people that came before me, like, looks at them, what do you guys want? And they just said, and then he just turned to me right away. He's like, what would you like? I'm like, old fashioned in Manhattan. Like, I didn't even, like, it was just like, I didn't even know what I wanted.
Yeah.
I was like, old fashioned in Manhattan.
Say it out loud, yeah.
And then he's like, okay, and he's making me the drinks, and he's stirring and shaking at the same time, like, oh, this is great, this is fine. And I'm like, this is a good choice, Mark. I don't know.
I used to work in a really, really, really high volume bar.
Yeah.
We were kind of not understaffed. There just wasn't enough space actually behind the bar for any more than like the 2 bartenders or whatever.
Yeah.
We might have 400 people in the room, and you're knocking out the drinks for all of them, right? And you could be 6 or 7 deep at the bar, and we used to have the 3-second rule.
Yeah.
If you didn't get an answer within 3 seckons, sorry,
Move
man,
on.
but I'll be back.
Yeah,
But
I'll be back. Yeah, make the other rounds.
And usually you only have to skip them once, and from then on,
Probably a good room.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, like with like my husband does so if there's no beer list like in front of you and you are asking like what kind of beer you have on tap, as soon as they say the one that you want, like just interrupt them and be, that's
I'll have
the
that.
one.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even think about it before, but like Trent's like, no, you like don't make them go through the entire list and then say the first one. And it didn't, like, it's so funny how like it didn't even occur to me that was a thing, but it makes so much of a difference when someone's like, yeah, got it, that one, thank you.
I mean, during a busy service, you would be amazed at how important 2 seconds can be.
Yeah.
You know, like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, but you're like,
yeah.
It's one of the toughest jobs out there.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's so mentally and physically draining.
Yeah.
But you have to be constantly on. Like constantly on, right?
And like nice. And like, and so it's not even just like remembering like I couldn't do it because I have a terrible short-term memory. Like you could be like, could I have like 3 old fashions and 2 Manhattans? And I'd be like, I'll have 6 old fashions, 3 Manhattans.
Oh man, Gordon Ramsay would not be happy with you.
No, I drop everything. Like the numbers go like right out my head, and I have no idea what I'm doing. So like I would be horrible at bartending or serving, and so I have so much respect when I'm just like, get them go. Like you get this rhythm. You can watch a great bartender behind the bar and like just like how they work with the bar back and like just it's like it's also part of the fun when you like go to a hotel bar or you're by yourself and you just want to like hunker down and be like, this will be fun.
Oh yeah. That's one of the things about like we tend to put on a little bit of a show as well, right? Like
yes.
It's entertainment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of times keep ourselves entertained, but you know, if everybody else gets a bit of a giggle out of it, then why not?
Throw a little flair, you know.
That's when it gets really entertaining. That's when I start dropping things.
Yeah.
I actually, I don't know. No.
You're considering.
No, I cut my forehead open like 2 weeks ago.
That's amazing.
I flipped. I know. I was trying to do stalls with my cocktail shaker, and for some reason, I just jammed it right against my forehead. I looked around, and my barback was like, "Dude," why? He's like, "You got blood in you." What? It's like, this nice little trickle coming out of my eyebrow. It was good.
So badass.
Yeah, I know. I felt like Action Man. It was great.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, we haven't actually talked about what we're drinking here.
Yeah.
People who are watching this on YouTube. Big brother over here. There you go.
Yeah, we've got a Weller 12, the original wheated bourbon.
Yeah, in a new package.
Yeah, the new package.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
The new packaging?
Yeah.
I like the old packaging better, but I feel like, I mean, they sell so much of this. I'm like, why do they repackage it?
More shelf
Weller
space.
12 is one of those like $35, $40 bourbons that sells for $100 or some dollars in the U.S. So it's very expensive by the time it reaches consumers' hands. I guess they've wanted to like up the ante a little bit as far as how rich it looked. I mean, I guess I like the look. I don't know. You know what? It photographs much better. I think that's the biggest difference. It photographs really better. The black label, because all the labels without the like. We've got right. And Jamie, I actually showed you the old bottle of the antique. So that's the old, not quite the same drink, but the old bottle. And that does not photograph very well without the label. Like it just, you can't see it. It doesn't Instagram very well. So I think the labels are key, and you find a lot of distilleries will place to make sure that there's a big thick label behind. But I think ultimately it comes down to the photographs. I mean, we know so many restaurants, and I mean, there's a place here called Sweet Jesus, the ice cream place, and literally, as far as I know, I'm not an ice cream expert. As far as I know, it's not necessarily the most delicious ice cream in the world, but it photographs so well on Instagram. It sells itself because it has that cachet on Instagram, that value right there. Like, look at what I'm having. This is amazing. Like, this is like the best thing in the world. And I think at the end of the day, Weller photographs better, which I guess I do appreciate that. I think at the end of the day, I just talked myself into this label. I think it's great. I started with that. Terrible,
was so
horrible.
Much fun. I just like watch you do that
you
big
just came
walk.
like full circle in your own mind there.
Wait a minute. No, this is perfect. I like Instagram. I
You
want
don't even need us here, man. This is
It's the Mark Show.
Anyway, I'll just shut up for a little while now.
No, I mean, I think it's great. It's a great whiskey. It's always been great. It used to be way more available, which I guess is the only thing that I would say that I'm sad about. Like, sure, rebrand. The font is not that different. Like, the Weller itself is the same font. It does photograph better. It's a little more clean. There's not as much like text on the label, but like, yeah, sure. Like it's I don't know. Like, I guess this kind of is reminiscent of a bit of a pot still, which I think is really interesting. And then you've got this one, which is, I don't know. It's just, sure, go for it. Do a little refresh. There's nothing wrong with a little refresh.
You're starting to talk yourself into it.
I know. This is my journey.
Yeah.
Ray, let's hear about your journey now.
Oh, God. No one needs to hear that.
Yeah. But no, I think it's great. I think, if you want to have a bottle, I mean, I don't know. When you think about it, so like, okay, the Coca-Cola bottle, the reason why it's shaped the way it is because people used to reach into a cooler and they wanted a bottle shape that was different so people would know what it was. And then you have bottles like Jack Daniel's and certain things that you would be like, okay, if I pick this up, this Old Rip, I would think that was a bottle of wine.
Right, yeah.
So I don't know. I just wonder if bottle shape, how much bottle shape has to do with it, and and the difference between this one, and why they decided to go for a longer, narrower bottle instead of this sort of
Well, you're guaranteed they did some sort of market testing, right? Yeah.
100%. So yeah, no, I'd be curious to see why, but everyone needs a refresh, and I think some of these bourbons, they've been around for so long, and because bourbon hasn't been really it's now a real thing where people are paying a couple $100 for this kind of bottle. Maybe they're let's give them something new, let's give them something fresh.
Yeah.
And let's change this, make the 12 even bigger. Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Gotta get that
Where's
number.
your journey, Ray? Where's it taking you?
I like the old one.
All right, but are you going to talk yourself into the new one?
Yeah.
Is the test. I mean, the fact that you started there is irrelevant.
Yeah,
Life
it's
change,
irrelevant.
okay?
Let's wait for him to talk himself into it. The journey.
Ray's a short story about this.
Yeah. Don't like it.
I can tell you're convinced. Yeah.
No,
fair
I
enough.
mean, look, there's nothing wrong with it. I think, side by side with the new antique and the special bottle, it definitely looks more now like a collection, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. There's just something about the old bottle that I really like. It's the shape.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's true. The shape is quite lovely.
It's sexier.
Yeah. You like a little more rounded bottles. What you're saying.
I do. I like a nice round bottle.
Maybe that's why you like Old Forester. It's got that thing too. It's got the that pot still sort of thing to it.
Oh, like the birthday bourbon bottle?
Yeah, the birthday. Yeah, it's got
Yeah.
that yeah. This one, but this juice is so good. This
Yeah.
whiskey is so delicious. I
Yeah.
can't ever it used to be everywhere.
I've got a bottle at home
Yeah.
that I got in one of the lotteries.
The lotteries.
I felt so lucky to have a chance to buy something.
I mean, if you've been listening to podcasts, you know how the lottery goes.
The
here in
lottery
Ontario.
works, yeah.
You buy things and you hope to win the lottery of being able to pay for it.
Pay for exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Best kind of lottery.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those liquids. Every time I open it and have a little bit out, you're like, oh man,
I know.
so good. But did I want to do that?
Yeah.
There's one less ounce.
I
Two
know.
less ounces.
If it's a Mark
half a bottle
Bylock
less.
for
Yeah, right?
3.
I was gonna say, there's that guy on Instagram that got in so much trouble in Toronto. Last time Weller 12 came into the market, he bought 36 Weller 12s, and he posted a photo of him on his dining room table. I've never seen. Of course, this did not make it to TMZ or any sort of news magazine. But as far as like Reddit and like discussion
Toronto
boards,
whiskey people,
our group, whiskey friends, all these different kind of sub whiskey groups. Everybody just hated this man. They're just like, why? And then the best part was like, no, I'm just gonna sell it to you at cost. Just let me know if you want one. I'm like, wait, you're breaking the law now, and you're putting on Instagram for no profit at all. I mean, if you're gonna break the law, at least make this is not an endorsement, but at least make a little bit of money.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
what's the point doing it
otherwise? You're gonna go to jail for nothing. I mean, at least profit from your crime.
Yeah.
If you're gonna commit a crime, so you ended up getting to so much like just everybody basically did not like that
well,
feed.
There's like a code, right? Like you gotta, like we all love whiskey, and I think people who sort of know what they're doing with whiskey, and someone says, "Oh, Weller 12 is in," and then like somebody goes and buys like 3 cases of it. Just like shut up about it. Like don't tell us. Like
right.
if you're exactly. Or just like abide by the code and buy your 2 or 3 bottles, because that's probably what you need for the next little while, and then just let other people share.
It's a real thing, though.
Yeah.
I get these kind of pangs of guilt sometimes when I'm ordering for here.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Where you'll see there's like 5 bottles of something left in the store.
And you're
like, I'll take 2.
Good for you.
In reality, you should be like, I'll take all 5.
I'll take all 5. Yeah. But I think that's and it's part of the we share. The whiskey community is very good at sharing, and we're so people do get fussy. No one likes to see that, because what are you doing with that whiskey other than leaving it to sit in your garage or wherever and not be drank and not be shared and not do the thing that whiskey is supposed to do in the first place, which is facilitate a great time. So what good is it in your garage?
It wasn't made to sit there.
Exactly. It's not getting any better. So
right.
let's share the wealth.
I think our friend Glenford Jameson did a great thing though when Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye became the best whiskey in the world as named by you know who. He went and bought like 12 bottles. He should have another name. He bought 12 bottles, and I mean this was a $35 product. There's lots in the liquor store, but he bought 12 bottles. But then he gave it to people as Christmas presents, which is smart. I was like, this is actually nice.
Smart.
So you hoarded 12 bottles, but you're giving this $35 gift as a Christmas present at a time where you couldn't buy the drink anymore. Which, again, there's a lot of good reasons to do certain things, but just to post it on Instagram and be like, "Hey,
look what I got.
Let me know if you want any." No, please don't do that.
Yeah. Just leave some for me and Mark and Ray.
But it is interesting. I've been getting into the kind of just through, not myself, but through groups about the kind of parties that trade whiskey in Toronto, and I'm sure it happens everywhere else. They literally trade, like, I've got Old Rip Van Winkle, I'll trade you for like this rye and that. Like it's like a sports team trade. Like if you have that
whiskey,
if you have that 20-year-old Pappy, like you can get a lot of other things. You can get your Stag, like there's this whole, like, it's literally like sports. It's insane.
I didn't know this existed until about maybe a year ago.
Yeah.
And a buddy of mine was doing the same thing. There was some forum on, I don't know what site it was. But he had I think it was couple of extra bottles of Blanton's Gold, and he was on typical search for the Holy Grail, right? He wanted that bottle of Pappy 23, so he had like these 12 or 13 different bottles, and he'd had 2 or 3 of over the years he'd picked up, and kind of had doubles or triples of, and these guys are talking back and forth like they're trading a fucking player.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like, I'll give you 2 of these and 1 of these for this and this, and it's cool. I like it.
Sure.
It's fun. Like, I mean, I think, and you can argue trading's probably not illegal. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not a lawyer. Again, this is not legal. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Do not
entertainment purposes only.
Do not use any. But yeah, there are groups that trade. I think that's pretty wonderful, because I mean, if you do have something and you have 2 of something, I think that's what a lot of people, especially in the States, do. They'll buy 2 of something and they'll trade the second one, because that makes sense. I mean, why you don't need 2 Pappy 20s, but if you happen to see 2 at the store, just get both and hope to trade something for that other 20.
I mean, I have no problem with people like purchasing one and then keeping one, or like whatever. It's when you start getting like cases, 30.
Come on.
The two or 3 I think is like totally fair.
Totally fair. And then actually, like, I think we got the Weller. I think it was the 107 that came out. Not this time, but the time before.
Yeah.
And we still had this bottle.
Yeah.
And we went to the LCBO, we found it. Yeah. And it's this bottle now.
Yeah.
And we got 2 bottles. because we had this one still, and we were like, do we need like?
Yeah. How much more do you need? Yeah.
What am I gonna do with it?
Yeah.
So like,
That's
we're just
it.
gonna
What are you
keep
gonna do with
exactly.
Yeah,
Not
I
gonna
was
get-
the same way. I didn't buy any Weller this year because
'Cause
I already
you
had
had some.
I bought
Exactly.
3 bottles.
Yeah.
No, I bought 2 bottles each last time, maybe 2 or 3. Can't remember. But
Yeah.
anyway, I think I bought 3, but I bought some for somebody else. But anyway, I was like, fine. I
Yeah.
go through. That's fine.
Yeah,
it's just enough.
and we're not active traders, and like we would just drink all of it.
yeah.
So
right.
yeah.
I mean, what?
Again,
So-
that's what it's made for.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yep, bring it to a party, whatever. And so, yeah, so this is actually this William LaRue Weller that we have here with us today. Whew.
That's still the one I'm waiting
worth,
on to finish the collection.
Several hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
This is a 2016, I believe. This is a 2016 batch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we didn't get anything last year. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is from 2016. So, yeah, we got it in the lottery. Trent has always done way better in the lottery. I've never got anything, and he's always gotten something. He's gotten Pappy's, like Pappy 15. He's gotten this one. So he didn't get anything this time now. So I think
know.
his streak is over.
I think the best I've gotten is
Yes.
Pappy 15. I've not gotten anything. I get a Look Van Winkle a lot, which is nice.
Yes, he got like 2 of these.
Yeah.
I know. This is one of my faves.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
This is probably top
Nothing, yeah, I
5.
got nothing this year either.
Top 5.
I had like my mom was in the lottery, Nicole was in
It's
the
too
lottery.
intense. It's so, people have cracked the system, and so it's just there's just no chance.
Oh,
now.
yeah,
I
you
think
have,
we're
like-
like
I know
we're
people
beyond.
have
Yeah.
various accounts under various different names for
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
every friend I've ever had has an account, that kind of way.
Yeah.
Well, and the LCBO makes it easy for you because you can go into the account and change the name. So you can have like a million names, and you can just log in as that account name, and you can just change your first and last name in there without any.
Mark just
any
cracked the
comms.
system and told
Yeah.
everyone how to do it.
Mark just broke the LCBO.
Damn it! Don't listen. LCBO doesn't listen to the podcast. Let's say stuff.
We're gonna get an email on Monday about this
From the LCBO?
From the LCBO saying, please take that down, you hackers.
Yeah, there you go.
You hacked the system.
But it happens. People hack it. It's fine. Yeah. I don't
That's
know.
what it's there
I don't know
for.
if it's fine.
The
but-
system is there to be hacked.
Rules are
Yeah.
made to be broken.
That's right.
All right.
Anyways,
Thank you for having us here at Char No.5.
and thank
on
you for
Simcoe Street.
hosting me
Anytime.
so very often.
Yes.
That's great.
Really. Jeez. Wow, this is a...
No one has any idea. Just Ray.
It's
Ray.
it's only like once every now and again.
Thank you.
Is this
Yes.
just anonymity? I can say words. Again, I remind you, yeah.
That Weller's kicking in.
No, that's just me.
That's just how Mark
That's
pronounces
just me.
things. Yeah.
No, but it's
Amazing.
wonderful to let us use the space, especially because we used to record this podcast on my place, and now that's not really an option.
It's not an option.
Babies
It's
screaming.
the-
Babies everywhere.
Babies everywhere, yeah.
especially on video, because
Yeah.
so that's really appreciate using the space for
Anytime.
the podcast. And
Yeah,
I
thanks,
know
man.
pretty much when people travel here now, they stay at this hotel. It's actually a really fun thing because a lot of whiskey like brand ambassadors that come here, this is the place they started staying at.
Yep.
I don't know where they stayed before, but this was kind of when this place came aboard. This is where you
Yeah,
go.
it's.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? Like, pretty much. No, like every brand ambassador in the country pretty much has their whole portfolio here.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Might
Yeah.
be one or two kind of random little things missing, but
yeah.
pretty much the whole portfolio for everybody's here. Yeah.
Well, where can people find you on the Instagrams and
On the
Twitters and all
line.
that?
Twitter I use purely for hockey and
Okay.
hockey-related news. So
Oh,
that's
yeah, don't worry about that.
Instagram at Ray Daniel Whiskey.
Right, Dan.
Whiskey with an E.
Excuse me. All
Really
right.
neat. Mark, where can we find you?
MARKBYLOK on Instagram and on Twitter.
And I'm still a bourbon thing.
Yeah.
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 Cheers.
Cheers. Gotcha.